Get Sports Focus, Alfred Joaquin here with our very good friend, Sione Talfo. I said that right?
Good. Talfo.
Talfo. Man. So this is the Uncut segment. It's uncut, so it's unedited. It's basically just a conversation that we're going to record, talk about a lot of things, maybe some issues going on in the sport of football. And I want to start off by saying congratulations to you for being the new, well, they announced it a while back, but this is exciting, man. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the school, the league, for the kids. When I heard it, I thought it was a great fit. Tell us, I mean, let's start with this. Talk about your background. Like what we always do with the coaches, talk about your background and where you're from and your athletic background.
First of all, thank you for congratulating us. I think we're excited, and when I say that, I refer to the whole coaching staff. A little bit about me. I'm a Bay Area kid, one of four brothers. We all played different sports throughout the Bay Area, the peninsula. Everyone played football. You know, I have a brother that played. I played at the University of Mary, a smaller school. I have another brother that played rugby at San Diego State. I have a brother that played linebacker at Iowa State, and I have a brother that played fullback at Cal, and then throughout the NFL.
Nice. Did your dad play ball too?
No, my dad was a rugby player, straight out of Tonga.
Nice. A little bit about your family. I mean, man, that's a pretty amazing resume right there with all your brothers. You guys are basically a football family.
Yes, I think football is what we did and do. I don't think it's who we are. I think who we are is, defined by our parents and how we were raised, and I think that's why, I choose to coach football, because it's a way to give back, a way to, allow students to build relationships on another level, meaning, football has tough times, both physically and mentally, and you got to rely on the person next to you.
Yep. I've always wanted to ask you, how did you, okay, so other than being a coach here, I mean, I know you're involved with a lot of things before and probably even now still. What else do you do?
So I have a quarterback academy, Difference Maker Quarterback Academy.
Yep.
We host camps in the Bay Area as well as San Diego. I had Epic 7, a 7-on-7 traveling team that played throughout California. Was focused on, those two things are focused on developing men. Men built for others, in a term. I also do the Elite 11. Met Trent Dilfer about 5 years ago and been traveling on the circuit ever since, mainly the West Coast, opening camps as well as the opening at Nike headquarters. I also am involved with the Polynesian All-American game, ran by the Ainga Foundation down in Southern California. Interesting piece, one of our first 7-on-7 teams a long time ago. The very first 7-on-7 team I coached was with the Ainga Foundation, and that team included Juju Smith, Adoree Jackson, so it was pretty interesting, right?
Wow.
As well as Chase Forrest, quarterback at Cal.
Yeah.
There's a long list of kids there that have developed through great leadership and organizations that are there to help. What else? Let's see. I'm currently doing, I have Exos Digital as well as the head coach at Mitty, and then I will continue to work at the opening and run Difference Maker quarterback camps.
And that's coming up, right? The opening?
Yes.
Did they start already, or?
I believe it's March 4th is the first one in the Bay Area.
Okay.
They changed the date, but time to compete. Let's get after it.
Yeah. For all you student athletes listening to this, make sure you're on top of that stuff, because, man, you got to get yourself out there. And now that we're kind of like into that subject, you've been in the game for a while now, but what are the changes that you've seen in the past, let's just say 6 years, when it comes to high school football recruiting?
I think technology has changed the level of exposure, meaning it's easier to find student athletes wherever you go. So you're allowed to, there's a lot of self-promotion, but I think on the flip side, you also have a lot of kids that see highlight tapes, a lot of student athletes that see these highlight tapes and think that it's just a highlight. They forget that, behind those highlights is hours and hours of work.
Yeah.
A weight room, classroom, film room, building that skill set to provide those highlights. I think one of the biggest thing I think has changed is, I don't know if people that play football or student athletes that want to play football understand what work ethic is and what hard work really is. I think they're so used to gaining access to things very quickly via Google or anything of that nature that they forget that you have to put a lot of work in. And it's a grind, and it's lonely, and it's hard, but that's also what allows us to grow, is finding that uncomfortable edge and developing there and being uncomfortable and finding greatness within yourself.
That's true. I remember. Were you in the VHS? Or, you're in the DVD generation.
No, I think I was the VHS, man. Stop aging me, bro.
Because before, I do remember the VHS, and, coaches would have the 2 decks, and they would, I got this from Alonzo Carter back in the days. I went to his house. He's got tons of VHS. Tons, like a wall.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this is so-and-so, and this is so-and-so, and he would, pull it out and put it in the VHS machine. I was like, wow, come a long way. And now everything is on Huddle. But do you think it kind of like when kids put out their highlight tape and they say, please watch my highlight tape, what do you think of that? How do coaches really look at these things? Do they even look at it?
I think colleges, have built a system to go through film. I think that it has to get through certain levels to get to the position coach. I think, if you're a student athlete that plays football and you're hungry to get to the next level, I think there's a lot of those kids. But I think you also need to be realistic where your tape fits.
Yeah.
If you're a DB that wants to go to Stanford, all you have to do is look up their roster for the last 5 years. Look at the size, look at the height, look where they fit academically, look at the coach. How long has that coach been there? Is he a new coach? Where did he come from? What kind of players did he recruit? Just like anything, when you look up, when it goes to recruiting, when you decide what high school you want to go to, you're going to look at that high school. What have they done in the past? Who's the coach? Or, what has this public school done? Where are they going? It's the same thing. You have to do your research. You have to look at schools like a project.
That right there is like money for parents and kids that are watching this or listening to this. You do have to do your research. That's really good. Look at the roster. Look at the history and.
If you're a D lineman and you're 5'10", 240, and this school has nobody under 6'3", under 280, it's probably not the right fit for you.
Yeah.
Or you don't fit academically, it's probably not the right fit. So is there a right fit for you? I'm pretty sure there is. Am I telling you to stop chasing your dreams? No way. You're going to chase them as far as you can. Yet, you have to understand you need to have unique skill set if you don't fit their measurables.
The measurables. Yeah, being in a position that I am or we are at Get Sports Focus, we interact with a lot of parents, and it's always after the football season I get some messages where they ask my son accomplished this, he's in all league, he broke this record or he set this, but he's not getting any offers, and then I asked him, I was like, how much have you done as far as getting help during that process? And it's like, well, not much, we thought their coach or whatever was going to help them and stuff.
Yeah. You almost need to be your own advocate.
Yeah.
You need to create template emails. You need to put together a quality highlight tape. Make sure, the first, 5 to 8 plays are really strong. You need to make sure you're accessible, communication-wise. And then you need to make sure you fit. I mean, there are some colleges or universities that will say they don't fit our height and weight, or they don't fit this. That's where you have to be honest with yourself. And that's the hard part about recruiting.
Yeah,
and I think that's what everyone wants, is to be recruited. Yet high school football isn't about being recruited. High school football is about a culture. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself. It's about learning how to get through all the tough times. Because for 90% of football players in high school, football ends at high school. It's the hopes that if I put myself through 4 years of football, that I become a better man, I become a better father, I become a better brother, I become a better son. And I learn, one, how to get through difficult times, mentally and physically, how to push through times that are tough. And I also learn how to make the right decision when I'm put in front of a bad situation. I mean, that's the hopes of a high school football coach, or at least me.
Yeah.
Is I'll never be graded, or at least in my opinion, by wins and losses. I'll be graded by, was I able to help this young man become a better man? Or, anyone involved in our program, from stats to anything. Did I affect them positively and allow them to make a better decision during tough times, or allowed them to look at themselves and say, I can get through these tough times?
Yeah.
I heard someone say, tough times don't last, tough people do.
Yeah.
But you also need the skill set to believe in confidence that you're a tough person to get through whatever it is. Nice.
Now, I met you when you were at MA.
Yes.
But I knew about you before. Let's go back to high school, Coach. Talk about the high school days, man.
About the high school days.
St. Francis.
Oh, yes.
Did everybody go to St. Francis in your family?
No.
Okay.
So my oldest brother went to Menlo School.
Gotcha.
And then myself and 2 younger brothers went to St. Francis.
Gotcha. So you're number 3? Number 2?
2.
You're the second?
I'm the second.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
So tell us about St. Francis back in the days.
Oh, man, great experience, great place, great tradition, right? A lot of exposure to the world that we came from. If I remember things, I remember my dad growing up and changing and growing and maturing and seeing what we were going, as well as us growing and maturing, and them opening different doors for us, And we're very grateful to St. Francis for them showing us different ways to do things and accomplish things. It was a great experience, great place.
How many titles did you guys win?
Oh, man. I don't know. I think Goose Egg. I think we lost them. And I think that's the thing about high school football.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many I won, lost. I can't even tell you what my record was, but I can tell you, I can remember Matt Manukian. I can remember Troy Bieneman. I can remember Pat Dillingham, Jeff Christian. I remember the guys I played with.
The experiences.
The experience, the camaraderie, someone telling me, we can do this, or, do the thick and thin. I think that's what I remember. Yeah. I think that's what football's all about, the culture.
I think that's all of us who played high school ball.
Yeah.
It's like you remember those times.
Yeah. You remember being dead tired and having to do a little more.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was more mental than it was physical.
And from your experiences, what was the main thing that you learned as far as being a high school football player that propelled you to the next level? Or when did you know that I could play college ball?
I really didn't. I think me personally, I didn't. I think I was scared of failing, so I just trained so hard that I could just go do it. And I did fail. I was like, I'll just change the way I train. I changed the process. And looking back at it now, I didn't know that I was actually developing the skill set to fail and reset and look at what I did and then do it again and then get different results. I think the process delivers your results. Whether it's training or how you write an essay and how you edit it and peer edit it and have someone else edit it to get to where you want it to be. I think going to junior college San Mateo was phenomenal. I think right at the beginning of their rise and learning, a different level of football on the field, but also a different level of how do you want to say it? That I had a lot of opportunity and I was given a lot going to St. Francis, and I needed to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I think, high schools like Mitty, there's a lot more provided to you. There's a lot more opportunity to take advantage of. And then watching my brothers play, I knew my brothers could play. That wasn't even a question. And I think from my experience, it was like every one of us just got better and better and better.
So it's just kind of carried on. That's nice.
Yeah.
Now, you've always played running back?
I played linebacker.
Linebacker?
Yeah. A little bit of running back. I played running back too, yes.
But you're a QB coach, which is interesting to me.
Yes.
How did that happen?
So, when I graduated college, came back, was working at the Rikus Center.
The good old Rikus
Which
Center.
is, a training facility. So
Yeah.
was learning biomechanics and learning that thought process. When I decided to coach or decided to become a head coach, completely defensive-minded guy, and I wanted to learn, quarterback play. A quarterback that could win on third down could beat us. And games really came down to really quarterback play and third down play. And that 3rd and 8, 3rd and 14, can we pick it up? So I think at that time I was doing football university, and I was going to camps, and I bumped into Tom Martinez. Tom Martinez was Tom Brady's quarterback coach, of course.
Yep.
Everyone knows, like a kind of a Bay Area legend.
Yep.
And I basically asked, like, hey, can I come learn from you? And I think I spent every Sunday for about 5 years.
Wow.
I went and learned and started to see it. The first year was kind of like all different and didn't really get it. By my second, third year, I kind of broke it down to biomechanics and thought processes. By the 4th year, I really had it down pack. And then Coach passed away. And, I think a lot of my success is, Coach, the 5 years of mentoring, the coffee, having coffee with him and talking football and talking goals and how to get it done. And, his wife, Olivia Martinez, also being there to support me and give me opportunities and talk me through thought processes. So after Coach passed and we kept rolling, I kept the group going. So every Sunday we were throwing. Eventually, Trent Dilfer and I connected. And then I got onto the Elite 11 circuit. And that kind of took it to another level. I think everything Coach Martinez talked about was validated through what Trent Dilfer's research. And it was like combining the best of both, developing as a coach, being around better coaches than I was, pushed me to be better. I think it was uncomfortable in the beginning.
Oh, I bet.
Learning and being in a room with a bunch of guys that played quarterback in the NFL and college at a very high level, and then being the guy that played small school football on defense, coaching at the same level. So I really took it as a challenge and fight for my spot on the Elite 11 staff yearly.
Wow.
That I want to be there and I belong there and I could coach at a high level.
Nice.
See,
I know we talked about this, but I think it's valuable that, people learn a little bit about that background of you, because it didn't happen overnight.
No, it's a process.
I bet a lot of people think like, oh yeah, he just changed position. 5 years?
Yeah.
Wow. That's dedication right there.
I mean, I think there's one thing about, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the thought process of failure will keep me up and keep me working. I'll lose sleep over it, but it also focuses me. I think when I have had success as a coach, I think it's because of the coaches that are with me. I think one of the things about being a head coach, if you look at being a head coach for 5 years, taking a couple of years off, and then now given the opportunity to be a head coach again at Archbishop Mitty, I am, one, I've grown and learned a lot, but two, I'm lucky and blessed to have a really good coaching staff, as well as a really good administration that supports you.
Yeah. That helps a lot when everybody's on the same page, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't mean we're going to win. It just means that we're trying to get in the right direction or build the right culture.
Exactly. Now, you did mention 5 years. You were head coach at MA.
Yes.
For 5 years. Not just a head coach, a championship coach. I saw the progress, and you know, we were able to. I mean, we were fortunate enough to cover a lot of your championship season. It was a different scene. It was totally different when we went to MA. You felt it in the crowd. You felt it in the sideline, the players, and I was like, hey, it's that guy. I remember it was our game of the week, and I shook hands with you like pregame. I think you went up to me and it's like, hey, thanks for coming. I was like, that's awesome. That's rare, you know?
Yeah. And I didn't know who you were then.
You didn't know who I was?
I just thought it was cool that we had coverage. I was excited for our kids that someone wanted to come and cover our game. And
then you guys won, and, you know, we did the post game, and I think that started the connection between us. And and then you guys went on to win CCS.
Nope. We lost.
Wait.
Sarah. We lost to Sarah.
Oh, it was against Sarah. See?
That's how many games you've covered.
Wow. Okay. That was the Eric Wilson team.
Yep.
Okay. But that was still a great year.
It was good. No, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. It's all about growth.
What was when you became a head coach? What was that experience? I mean, 5 years to build a program to a championship level.
Oh man, that
in an area that's kind of like in between. You know, I mean, there's the affluent side, and then there's the side that's.
I think if you could deal with the diversity at Menlo Atherton, you're great. I think it took time to build a culture, which, you know, we had our ups and downs and our highs and lows, but I think we got somewhere where the kids would play hard.
Yeah.
And I think now, looking at what Adir is doing, Adir is just taking it to another level. You know, and the talent of those teams.
He was one of your assistants.
Yes, the talent of those teams is phenomenal. You know, compared to where they were. Not saying the talent level was bad when I was there. We're just saying that, like, we brought a team together that, you know, they weren't very good. They didn't get along. We got a bunch of kids that care about each other. Yeah. And then we got, once they started to care and they owned the program, the kids on campus started to care. Then the crowds grew.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at it, now Adir's taken that and built a program where kids want to stay home and go to school there. Yeah. And it's phenomenal. It's great to see from a distance.
It is. It
really is, because you know where it was 8 years ago.
Yeah, because so you stopped coaching for a little bit, and then he stepped in, and I was interested of what was there, of what they got going on there, and I was like, oh, this is cool. It shows going on.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, like, what made you leave MA? Like, was it what made you leave high school football?
I just needed a break. Okay. I think I took over head coaching when I was probably a little too young. I was probably 26, 27 when I took over my first head coaching job.
You were one of the youngest.
And it kind of burned. It didn't just burn me out. I was just tired, I think. And, you know, getting my master's, you know, trying to go get my master's, and then I just needed to step away. I think it was time, you know.
And then you started Epic 7.
And then we started Epic 7, and Epic 7 was fun. And I think that was fun to put the Bay Area on the map. It was fun to put the peninsula on the map and see kids get exposure that they should get.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with anything, but, you know, we don't always have the coaches come around the peninsula to recruit kids.
Yeah.
And putting that together was fun. You get to know all the kids, and, you know, kids from different areas, and different schools, and you get them all together, and you watch them compete, and you watch them grow, and then you watch them build relationships and friendships.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting that, you know, we got St. Francis and Bellarmine and Valley, like, all on the same team.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I thought you guys were all enemies.
And I think that's what football's all about, is there's a great respect.
Yeah.
You know, you respect their effort, you respect their play, and watching them play against each other is fun, too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when they actually put the pads on, they take care. They hit each other, but they also pick each other up. So there's a mutual respect.
And it's always nice to see everybody get together after the game and take pictures.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then you see the post, Epic family, and then, you know, it's great to see. It was a great experience. I could tell for the kids, for everybody that was involved, because of, to this day, I mean, obviously there's no Epic 7 this year.
Oh, it's coming back.
It's coming back.
2019.
Okay.
Epic 7 is coming back.
Gotcha. But I still see the effect. I mean, kids talk about it, and you still see it. And that's the kind of like, that's the lasting effect that you guys have made in this kids' lives. So now you're the main guy here at Archbishop Mitty. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be. We're excited, man. We're excited to see the things that are gonna be happening here. And what are your thoughts? Or what do you got going on? What can we expect, man?
What can you expect? We expect we're building a culture. We're gonna take time, and the kids are gonna learn how to trust the coaches, and we're gonna learn how to trust the kids, and they're gonna learn how to trust each other. And that's gonna take time, and trust is gonna be measured by time and habits. What are they doing over time, and what habits are they building? And we're gonna go from there.
I was at the One Vision All-Star game over the weekend, and I know you spoke to the kids pregame, and I heard you talk about trust.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you get kids to trust you, and how do they get you, or how do you make them trust each other?
Well, I think first they have to trust themselves. I think how do you find a way to challenge them mentally and physically, and you give them the courage and strength to get through that. I think, so when you talk about time and behaviors or habits, you're talking about what am I doing in the classroom? What am I doing in the weight room? What am I doing that allows me to trust myself? Am I on time? Am I late? Okay, cool. If I'm late, there's an opportunity to fix it. Now what I'm doing over that is I'm taking time and my behaviors, and I'm changing my behaviors. Now if you look, if I go from someone that's late, 5 minutes late all the time, to all of a sudden 5 minutes early, that's a big deal. Now they're beginning like, shoot, I can trust myself. If you get in the weight room and we're doing bench press or something, and you watch a kid do the drill perfectly and go to failure, like he's learning how to trust his teammate, because who's got to spot him? Mm-hmm. Someone's got to be there to take care of him. And I think it's just a process of being consistent. So what am I doing in my time? How am I being consistent academically, weight room, football, with my family, taking care of my chores? And then the behaviors, do they match? Like, we're at that age, these young men are at that age where showing up to the weight room is not enough. You got to show up with a great demeanor, a great attitude. You got to be ready to roll. You have to be willing to be your best for whatever time period that is. Now, we're trying to teach them to be their best over and over again. So first period, second period, third period, fourth period, right?
Yeah.
And then all week. And it takes time, it takes courage, it takes grit, but at the same time, it makes life worth it. It makes football worth it. Yeah. It makes building that relationship worth it, because I trust him. We might not be best friends. We might not even hang out. But I trust him because I've watched him earn it. Over time, he's developed the skills or behaviors that's been like, oh, I can trust him. And I'm fired up. I'm fired up. It's gonna be interesting. If we can get that done, I'll be ecstatic.
Nice.
That's gonna take time.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Also, you kind of brought it up, the process driven.
Yes.
What does that mean? The hashtag process driven. I saw that all the time. I was like, at some point, we gotta ask them on camera what that means.
What does the process mean? Life's a journey. Epic. Epic refers to the term journey. Like if you take the roots of the word, we're talking about journey, right? So it was the journey of 7, because there's 7 on the field. So Epic 7 was about the journey, the skill guys.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little deeper, than people just see Epic 7, they think like this monument moment. Well, no, we're referring to the process.
Nice.
So
okay.
When you say process driven, we're talking about how we attack things, right? Going back to the school analogy, if I'm writing a paper, I do my bullet points, and I do my rough draft, and then I have someone edit it, and then I do my spell check, and I have this process. Okay, well, I turn that in, and I get a B. Okay, cool. There's an opportunity there for me to change that process and make it better.
Yes.
When you do a math equation, typically there's step by step to get the answer. Mm-hmm. Same thing. So in football, is the process is to find out, can I be the best man I can be?
What was your best subject in school?
Me?
Yeah.
PE.
You sound like a math guy, man. You're very analytical.
I would say math probably was. It was the one that came easiest to me, but I think I had to work for school. So.
Did you always have to? What was your interest coming out of high school? Did you want to be into football right away?
No,
or when
it was
when
like
did that decision come?
Business, growth, leadership. I think that was kind of my interest, is business and development, and even doing, you know, some startup work startup company work before I came back to coaching. It was fun. It was enduring. I like the challenge.
You like the challenge?
I like when things are different, you know?
Nice. Okay. Well, before I got a couple more questions, what are your thoughts about when did you start playing football? And
So
what?
I was 8.
You were 8.
I think it was 8.
Wow. Were you a big kid?
Yeah.
A big 8.
I played center.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was an article, or there's a lot of things going on right now on social media, and you know some parents actually have hit me about it, about youth football. You know, they're trying to ban anything younger than high school age, I guess, tackle football. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I guess, and it's hard for me to cover this without citing sources, but like everything I've read, you know, says there's not, the danger isn't there until college. Or even if you look at high school, you know, most of the studies I've seen, football is like not even number 1 on the list for concussions. It's like 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. But I guess I would answer with another question is what replaces, in the Bay Area, Peninsula, you know, kids are so busy and doing so many different things.
Yeah.
What replaces the kids falling off the handlebars or playing street football and hitting their head and running into cars? Like, what replaces that? What replaces building the toughness in our kids to know they can keep going? And it's not just mental, it's physical. And usually you find out how tough someone is when they're at physical exhaustion, because that's when the mentality has to kick in.
Yeah.
Like, what replaces that? What replaces the scrapes and bruises and kids running around the street and having a good time and falling and getting up? Like, I just, you know, I can't tell you the answer. Like, if there's a true danger, okay. But if there isn't, then it's like, what do you do with all the kids that parents have to work 2 jobs? And football's basically the babysitter for their kids. And kids that need football. Because there's a lot of kids that need football, too.
When you say need football, what do you mean by that?
It's a way to deal with emotions and feelings. They're learning. They're learning how to communicate. Like, there's a lot of kids, you know, that don't know how to communicate, and they're learning how to communicate, and a lot of times football is that tool.
That's right. Well, looking ahead, what are your goals as far as coaching or football profession? Do you have aspirations to be I mean, this is a great school to be a head coach, but beyond that, college, NFL, because you're a young guy, and you're one of the few individuals that I see going far.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm humbled by it, but I think the immediate goal right now is Archbishop Mitty football needs to build a culture and play together, and we need to play our tails off. You know, and these kids need to learn how to love each other and trust each other. And that's literally what I'm focused on right now, and I'm driven by it. So we're building the processes. You know, this is bigger than football and running around, but can we build a brotherhood? Can we build a bunch of dudes that care about each other and represent this school the right way?
Very nice. Anybody that you want to mention, thank? You've had a long journey with the game of football. I'm sure there's individuals that have made a difference in your life.
Oh, yeah, you know, my family, thank you to my family, and the Martinez family, and the Stenstroms for introducing me to the Dilfers, and, you know, the list is on and on. There's so many people that have impacted me profoundly and provided a platform for me. So to everyone that's allowed me to get here, thank you. And thank you for coming and doing the interview.
Yeah, this is not the only time we're going to do this, man. We're going to do updates, you know.
We'll get there.
But I appreciate you making the time, and like I said, you know, we're excited for you, for the staff, for the school, especially for the kids, and we're looking forward to covering more Mitty football.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.